Alrighty. Good morning. Hope everyone's doing well. Today is February the 19th. It's a Wednesday today. We actually do have some red folder news later into the day. FOMC markets are also at all-time highs. We end up having a nice push kind of coming into yesterday's close. Today, what we're going to be looking for is to see if we can hold that all-time high. So red folder news today, what we do have is this FOMC minutes. Let's go exactly what I'm looking at onto the charts coming into today. If you go into the 1 hour time frame, as you can see right here for the ES, we still have not been able to have a strong candle close above this 6150 key area. If I go into the regular trading hours here, you can see this a little bit better. This is really the key level of resistance, which is this 6150, and on the SPY, it's your all-time high. So this is a very key level that price has been unable to get above. So unless we can get above this key area, then we're not going to be able to gravitate up towards this 6184. So really coming into today, if I go back onto the electronic trading hours, the key level that I have marked out is this 6150. We've been not able to close above this key area in the actual market hours. You can see a couple closes above in the pre-market, but that doesn't really count. What we like to see is the break above in market hours for this continued push back towards the upside, towards this all-time highs on the overall market. If we reject off this area, which is your 6150, I do expect this to come back towards the downside. So if we go into the SPY here, as you can see, this is the key level, which is your 610, your all-time highs level. We've been not able to have a strong candle close and a continuation of this level. So if I go into the extended trading hours here, this is the key level that I have for SPY. Go into the 15-minute chart, you can see price is flirting around this key area, which is your all-time highs, right? 611 on SPY. This is the key area. What I like to see really is just the hold of your all-time highs for this push right off the bat for continuation towards upside. If you go into the regular trading hours, you can see actually yesterday's close within the last 15 minutes of market open, really solid push towards the highs. You actually got above your all-time highs in the last 15 minutes of market close. And now what I like to see is just the hold of your previous all-time highs for this continued pushback towards the upside, which is your 61050. So as you can see right here, super key level on SPY. Go back onto the extended trading hours. This is going to be key coming into today. If we can get above this, I expect continuation, and that's what we're going to be looking for. If it gets back underneath, we're just going to see this potential retracement just back inside of yesterday's range. But what I like to see coming into today is that push and that break and hold above that 610, 611 for that continued push back towards that all-time highs now, which is going to be that 612.50 in the pre-market. So that's what I'll be looking for coming into market open on the SPY. If we look at the QQQ, similar thesis on the Qs coming into today. If I zoom out here just a little bit on the 1 hour chart on the NQ, let me actually go into the 1 hour, zoom out just a little bit. You can see that the NQ is holding this level fairly nicely. So this is our 2211. Sorry, our 22,111. This is our previous resistance. So this is our previous resistance. Now what we like to see is this level be used as support. And you can see multiple touches right off this 22,111. Yesterday, that's where it came back down towards as well. And now we have clear targets back towards the upside, being your 22,387 and our 22,447 towards that all-time high. So go into the lower time frames here. You can go into the 15-minute chart. This is our key area that we have marked out, which is our 22,214. If I go on to the regular trading hours, as you can see right here, we kind of had a little bit of rejection. This is your previous day highs on Friday. Sorry, this is not your previous day high. This is your Friday's high. And then yesterday, you can see right off the bat, a little bit of reaction off this key area. And then we stayed heavy underneath the 2214. So really, this is our key area. If you can get above our 22 to 12, I like to see this continue push back towards the upside on the overall market, back towards this all-time highs on VNQ. So far, we're holding this key area, which is your previous resistance, now turning into support. We end up having a nice bounce here yesterday. Now what I like to see is just continuation back towards the upside on the overall market. So if I go on to the extended trading hours here, similar thing to the NQ. The key level that I do have marked out is your 539. This is your key area now that I like to see price get above. If I go onto the daily time frame, as you can see right here, this is your key area, which is your swing pivot high. This is also your all-time highs as well. We actually got above your all-time highs. So we got above your all-time highs yesterday, just for a very small part of market open, and we got right back underneath this key area, which is your 539. So if I kind of remove this is I can get rid of some of the things I have drawn out. So the key levels I have drawn out in this case is just going to be this high back from Thursday. Drag this over. You can see nice little touch we had on the QQQ yesterday, and then we actually ended up trying to get back above your all-time highs, which is your 539. So as long as you maintain your 539 here, I like to see this continue push right off the bat for a push back towards upside towards your 541 on the QQQ. So this is going to be your key level today, our 539. This is the same key level we had from yesterday as well. We're unable to get above this key area really yesterday besides the close, so we haven't been that much bullish yesterday, but today if price can hold above your all-time highs, I do expect this nice continued push back towards the upside on the overall market, which is your 541. So now let's go on to some tech names that I have. As for Tesla, a lot of names yesterday just inside bar days consolidation. So for Tesla, the key level that I have marked out really is your 348 towards the downside. You can see multiple touches here. And then I also have our key level marked out as well, which is our 364. So you can see multiple touches as well. If I go into the 15-minute time frame, really you can see a touch on Friday. Yesterday, what we have is an inside bar day. So what we can draw it now is just a couple key areas, right? You can draw your previous day highs, we can draw your previous day lows as well, right? Since we do have an inside bar day, what I would like to see is now the break above your previous day highs, hold above your previous day highs. We can see some more continuation towards your 365 and above. If we break underneath your previous day lows, we can see this 348. So we'll mark out your previous day highs, which is going to be key on Tesla, and we really want to see the reaction that we have off this key area. Another chart that we can be looking for is Nvidia. So Nvidia yesterday, I did talk about this one being up around, if I'm not mistaken, 10 days in a row, right in towards our key area. That's why I said be very cautious on Nvidia. This is our main objective, which was our gap fill at this 141, right? Also a gap up coming to market open yesterday. It was most likely it was going to have this gap fill reversal that I ended up talking about. So for Nvidia, it just came right off the open, right? A little bit of a pop. Right, I talked about this pop, but then it ended up fading back towards the downside, towards this gap fill, all the way back down towards this 139. And you can see multiple touches off this key area. This is the level that it's holding so far, which is just your previous high from Friday. And now you can kind of drag this over. So really coming into today on Nvidia, this is our key area that we have marked out, which is our 139. As for today, probably not going to do too much after having a big day yesterday. And now we had that gap fill reversal, first red day as well. Most likely we'll just come back down towards that 139, and potentially you could be looking for the higher low off 139. But at least for Nvidia, there is going to be no opening plays on this one. You do want to be looking for the bounce, most likely off of your previous day lows, which is your 139, or potentially, right, the pre-market high retest. I don't really like this one just due to the fact that the context, right, big push towards the downside, right? Spine Qs are at all-time highs. So if you do want to see a bigger push in the overall market, I think there is better names to trade than Nvidia. But this one, what I like to see is just some more consolidation. If you can get some consolidation today, potentially form a flag on the 1 hour time frame, then we can be looking for that next leg towards the upside, really above your 142. So we just want to be patient, wait for the first 10 to 15 minutes to play out on Nvidia. If we look at Meta higher time frames, the key areas that we do have marked out is the 710. You can see nice pullback right in towards your 710 on Meta. Nice pullback yesterday, right in towards this key area. This is also your earnings high as well. Nice previous resistance turning into support. So you can see this area is holding nicely, which is your 710. So this is your key area for Meta. You can see nice little reaction coming into yesterday's close off this key area. So let's see if we can start building the higher lows off of your 710, 708, create the higher low for this continued push back towards the upside on Meta. So this is the key area that I would be looking for, is your 710. If you go look at Amazon, this one, really nice push towards the downside yesterday after getting underneath this 228. As you can see right here, underneath the 228, we end up having a nice push towards the downside, towards this really key level, which was that 225. And then of course your earnings low all the way down towards your 221. So really nice push towards the downside yesterday on Amazon. You can see price ended up having a nice push towards the downside, relative weakness, got underneath this key area 225, ended up using this as a retest, and then of course coming into yesterday's close we end up having a pretty big pop with the overall market as well. So coming into today on Amazon, I am still leaning a little bit more bearish now, just due to the fact that price ended up breaking towards the downside underneath this 228. So for Amazon, now the key levels that are going to mark out is going to be your previous day lows and this 225 key area. So for Amazon, I'm not too interested in looking for any sort of long positions unless we could get really above your 227 and then back above this 228, which is the area that it broke down from. Besides that, I do expect if the market to reject, if it does reject, then we can be looking for this continued pushback towards this 225 and potentially your previous day lows on Amazon. So the key level today is going to be this 225. If you can get underneath 225, which is going to be a key area today, you can see some more continuation towards the downside. If it maintains above 225 today, you're going to see this bounce back inside the middle of the range back towards your 227 and above. As for Apple, this one does have a news event coming into today. So we do have something after close, if I'm not mistaken. But for Apple, higher time frames look super solid. You can see it's maintaining your key levels, just your Friday's high. Super nice reaction off of your Friday's high. This was your key, sorry, this is not your Friday's high. This is your Thursday's high. You can see a nice big push towards the upside. And now you can see yesterday price came back down, retested this level perfectly, which was your 242.30. You can see a nice bounce back towards the upside. And now we're creating essentially this flat top. So we're creating a mini flat top on Apple. You can see just break above, retest as it comes back down. Similar thing, break, retest, and you like to see continuation towards the upside. So coming into today on Apple, the key levels that I do have marked out is your previous day highs. I also have marked out your Friday's highs as well. What I would like to see is the break above your 245, retest of this key area for this continued push back towards the upside, maintain these higher lows for this move higher on Apple. So that's going to be the key area. You potentially could be looking for a trade up in towards this key area, which is your 245, but I personally would like to wait for the break above and this continued push towards the upside towards your 247. Let me just grab some water here. So the key areas that I have on some other charts, number one, Google, the key area that I have marked out on Google is still the exact same levels, are 183. And I also have marked out this 189 as well. So you can see this is your earnings low, multiple touches around this key area, which is your 189. You can see bunch of reactions around Google. Now we're continuing back towards the downside towards this 183. A little bit of reaction here. So we're basically just ranging in between this 189 and this 183. So until we're able to break out of it, expect a bunch of ranges on Google and just expect the bounces from the lows and rejection off of the highs. As for AMD, so AMD yesterday, we were looking for really a kind of a pushback towards the upside here. You can see we finally got a candle close above this 113. Not the strongest candle close. We also filled this gap as well on AMD. But you can see if you go back into the 15-minute time frame, we were basically just holding this 113 level all day. I really wanted to see if you could get some continuation above this 114.60. But you can see multiple touches here. Not really any sort of reaction. Kind of stayed heavy all day, but ended up holding this 114 key area. Now we actually have a mini gap towards the upside. So what I like to see is just a hold now of your 114, right? Build up these higher lows that we have on AMD and just continue back towards the upside towards your 116. As I mentioned, AMD has been a tough long position, but as long as it maintains your 114, I don't think it'll be the greatest. I think it'll slowly move towards the upside. So most likely we'll just keep an eye on it. We'll see kind of the price action around this 114. If we are going to trade this, we are going to be on the higher time frames. As for Netflix, this one, a little bit of pullback, as you can see, right in towards our key area now. We can drag this out. This one, very much bullish towards the upside. We're just coming back down towards down close candles. Those are just supporting price back towards the upside. As you can see right here, previous resistance turning into support. As you can see now for Netflix, what we'll be looking for is just a hold of your 1027 if we are going to see this push back towards the high. So really coming into today, we're just going to keep an eye out on this previous all-time highs level. That's going to be key for the overall market. As for SPY as well, right, it's going to be the 610. So it's all dependent, really similar to yesterday as well, is the reaction that we have around the 610. I am looking for this continued push towards the upside, but I'm not going to force a long position if we're not able to get above the 610, 611. Similar to the Qs, I'm not going to try and force a long position if we're unable to have a strong candle closure above this 539 for this continued pushback towards the upside. And coming into today, some of my top watches, it does seem like a lot of these tickers are waiting for the Qs, right? If the Qs and SPY can break above all-time highs, we're going to have a nice trend towards the upside. If we're unable to break above, most of the names are just going to be inside the range and waiting for what the SPY and the major indices wants to do next. So coming into today, right, inside bar day on Tesla, I'm not going to be overly aggressive on this one. We are forming a tighter range, as you can see right here, building up this range on Tesla. We're going to have a nice move either way very soon. Could that be right off the bat? We'll see what happens with the SPY and Qs. It could be later into the day. So we'll keep an eye out on Tesla. We can trade this one either way. As for NVIDIA, this one, after having that pushback towards the downside yesterday, we want to be a little bit cautious because we are having that first red day. Plus, we already filled its main objectives on NVIDIA. So we already had a nice push towards the upside towards that 141.59, which was that full gap fill. Now I just expect it to come down. We'll see the sort of the reaction that we have off this 139 on NVIDIA. As for Amazon, we'll keep an eye on this one. Big push towards the downside. We'll see if we have some more continuation lower. Underneath, I expect if any continuation happens towards the downside, it's going to occur underneath this 225. As for Apple, this one's one of my top watches as well. I like to see it really get above this previous day high, which is your 245, if you want to see continuation towards the upside towards that 247. So really coming into today, just keep an eye on Apple. This one does have a news event, so we'll see what happens and what shapes up right off the bat. Tesla, we'll have to wait for the SPY and Qs as well. Similar to NVIDIA, really, it's just going to be based off the SPY today, SPY and the Qs, if we can get above this all-time high. So if we can get above the all-time highs, then we should start seeing some nice trends on the overall tech side. I'll go over a few more tickers here. Right here, what I can go over is Palantir. Palantir, super solid if you look in the daily time frame. Just coming back down towards down close candles. Higher time frame order blocks, just key areas we can just mark out, right? Nice reactions off these key areas. Just every single dip getting bought up, right? Break, retest, comes back down, retest, continuation towards the upside. For Palantir, this one very much still intact. Key levels that you can have marked out now is just going to be your all-time highs, which is also your previous day highs as well. What you like to see is really come back down towards your 120 or get above your all-time highs, your previous day highs as well for this retest, for this continuation back towards the upside. SoFi looks good as well. Super nice move on SoFi. A couple other ones we can kind of go over. Let's see. Yeah, like MSTR getting in a tighter range as well. This one I like to see kind of have a big move fairly soon. It is tightening up the range. So let's see if MSTR can start kind of spooling back towards the upside here on this name. Yeah, those are mainly, at least today. I don't really see too much on the overall market. We'll just base it off of relative strength and weakness as well. We'll just wait to see what happens. Coming into market open, I'm not going to be overly aggressive, at least right off the bat, unless we can get above this all-time high. So we'll see the price action coming into market open. We are going to have a mini gap if this holds coming into market open. So I am leaning more towards the outside for this gap fill, plus to get above your previous all-time highs with the SPY and Qs as well. So that's going to be my game plan coming into market open. Kind of already laid out, but SPY Qs, get above all-time highs. We'll be looking for a long position back towards the upside. So that's going to be it for me today. Yeah, as I mentioned, the internet's kind of lagging, so I'm unable to. I actually think it's better. I'm not. It's kind of weird how it works, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. If the internet does get better, then I will be back live for my pre-market preps. But I will see you guys at market open. All right, take care, everyone.